We're waiting for the promise. The promise. Do you know what the promise is? God has made some promises, and God's going to fulfill every promise that He's made. I mean, my being in Hot Springs, Arkansas, it's not going to have anything to do with, whether or not God's going to fulfill His promises. He promised Abram a son, and Abram had a son. Jacob had 12 sons, and I know Joseph had at least 2. Anyway, God had, made some promises. The prophets had spoken, and God's prophets, you can read about them. Isaiah, Ezekiel, Jeremiah. That's not the only ones. But Solomon was a king. He was the king after David. And God promised David something. And God promised him a son. And this son that I'm talking about is a little bit greater than Solomon. Yeah, you can read about one greater than Solomon. One greater than Solomon was in Jerusalem years ago, and he was there for a feast. Matter of fact, he'd been there for a lot of feasts because he was a frequenter of the temple, and every year there was some feasts that went on at Jerusalem, and Jesus would go there. He ate a last meal there one night with his disciples, and that's when Judas, was given something and told, go do what you're going to do. Well, folks, God's going to do what He said He was going to do. And Jesus gave some real good advice. That advice was fear Him who, after He has killed, has authority to cast into hell. And Jesus was the one that said there was one greater than Solomon, was at Jerusalem at this time when He was there. And the temple got torn down just like Jesus said it would be. And Jesus has gone up into heaven, and He's doing what He can do in heaven for me. And I am grateful. I am so glad that He is there doing what He can do for me. Because I'm not going to, stop doing what I'm doing down here for Him and my Father. Of course, Jesus and I have the same Father, which some people, they just don't have a clue, I guess. But anyway, one greater than Solomon. We hadn't seen, the people of Nineveh at the judgment, but Jesus did talk about it. There will be a judgment day, friend. But before the judgment day, the Son of Man will return. And when He does, what He, said that we were to pray for, to our Father in heaven, hallowed be Thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth. Folks, y'all might want to start doing some of God's will now, because if you don't, you might not be able to do it then. Anyway, that is my message from Hot Springs this morning.